Hey guys, it's Ushab, and I'm bringing you my review of Captain America Civil War. So, Captain America Civil War is directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, the Russo brothers, the same people who directed my favorite movie, Captain America the Winter Soldier, and it stars a lot of people. So, it's basically the original cast of Avengers Age of Ultron, plus the addition of Chadwick Boseman, Tom Holland, and David Brühl. So, like I said, this movie was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it was directed by the same people who directed The Winter Soldier, which, as you guys know, I loved Winter Soldier. So, did this movie live up to my expectations? No, it exceeded them. This movie was amazing. And, okay, so the Russo brothers, they really outdid themselves with this one. I loved Winter Soldier, and there weren't many movies that came close to it, but Civil War has now surpassed Winter Soldier as my favorite superhero movie of all time. So this movie was amazing. The Russo brothers did a great job. So the acting in this movie was on point. Everyone did a great job. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Elizabeth Olsen, everyone did a great job. But I'm going to talk about the new additions since I haven't really talked about them in my other reviews. So first of all, Tom Holland is probably by far the best Spider-Man we've had to date. So this is how I rate it. Tom Holland, then Tobey Maguire, then Andrew Garfield. Tom Holland was amazing as Spider-Man. So in this movie, Spider-Man is a teenager. I think he's about 15 or 16, and you can tell that Tom Holland really knows his stuff, because in the comics, Spider-Man starts off as a teenager. And honestly, Tom Holland really brought the teenage persona of Spider-Man to the screen, and that was good to see. Because that's one of the things people like about Spider-Man, is that he started off as a teenager, because most heroes start off as adults, but and they're usually like well-off people. But Spider-Man has always been like a person who was always been bullied his entire life, and he was like a stereotypical nerd, right? So the fact that he became a superhero and at such a young age is what made him so relatable and so likable by so many people. And I really feel like Tom Holland really brought that home in this movie. And Spider-Man, like, they did him perfectly. Like his action scene, his quips, like everything was on point, and I can't wait to see Spider-Man Homecoming. David Brühl as Baron Zemo was pretty good too. He wasn't the Baron Zemo I expected, because the Baron Zemo in the comics is actually a fighter, and like he's also from World War II. He managed to get into present day, and he's one of Captain America's greatest enemies. They didn't really do him that way, and I'm hoping they do it in future movies. But I'll get to him when I talk about stuff I don't like, because he wasn't that good of a villain in my opinion, at least. And hands down, my favorite character in this movie was the character I was most hyped for in this movie, and that was Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman kills it. Now, I've never heard of Chadwick Boseman before this, and I might be wrong, but I think this is his first like Hollywood role. So seeing him as Black Panther, I really loved him as Black Panther. In fact, I even got his figurine like right here. Black Panther was hands down the best part, in my opinion, the best part of this movie. He had a great origin story. This movie was sort of like an origin story for Black Panther. So I loved his origin. His action scenes were great. And he, in my opinion, had the most emotional arc in this movie after Captain America and Iron Man. So, and his action scenes were amazing, especially the chase scene when he's chasing Bucky down that we saw in the trailer. That was amazing. And honestly, I loved him as Black Panther. He brought the dark seriousness of Black Panther, because in a way, Black Panther is the Batman of Marvel. And you can see that he's pretty skilled. Like in this movie, he takes on a variety of very skilled fighters, and he basically holds his own against all of them. So it was cool to see Black Panther, and I can't wait for his solo film. And overall, the story in this movie was pretty good. So but I feel like the title is misleading. It's not so much a Civil War movie as it is a sequel to Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because this movie is like as a Captain America movie. Like even his name is in the title. If they had titled it like Avengers Civil War, I guess it would have been more of an Avengers movie. But this is really more of a Captain America movie than it is a Civil War movie, and it's basically about him trying to save Bucky while at the same time dealing with government pressures with the Sokovia Accords. And I really like that because The Winter Soldier was a good movie, and it was about Captain America and Bucky. And in this movie, they just expand on that because now Winter Soldier's free of Hydra, but at the same time, he's still like reeling from all the horror that he did while he was brainwashed. And I like the way the movie handled him because usually in most movies, like when someone's like mind controlled or brainwashed or whatever, they usually snap out of it. But in this one, he still has like some issues, which I won't get into because it's spoilers. And I really like the way they handled him and the way that Cap, like there's just a story between Cap and Bucky. I felt like really brought this movie home. And like there is some Civil War stuff, and when the Civil War stuff goes down, it goes down hard. And honestly, this movie was pretty good. I really love the story in this movie. And the action scenes in this movie were great. Like from the opening battle to the final fight, like all the action scenes were good. The Russo brothers, they really know how to do the action scenes. I love the action in The Winter Soldier, and I really loved it here. There were some shaky cams in this that I felt like were unnecessary and like made the action scenes look a bit, I guess it brought down the points in the action scene. But overall, they were pretty good. Hands down, the best fight in this movie had to be the fight at the airport, which we saw in the trailer. I have never seen a better fight in a superhero movie ever. The airport fight was amazing. Like it's where all the characters finally get together and like just fight each other. And all the characters had a key moment in this fight. Like for Spider-Man, Black Panther, Hawkeye, Vision, all of them. Everyone had a great moment in this fight. And it's probably the best scene in the movie. But a close second to that scene has to be the final fight between Cap, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man. And when I was reading the initial reviews for this movie, everyone was saying that the final fight between those three, it was brutal, it was raw, and it was hard to watch in the sense that like it was heartbreaking to see these such close friends just fighting like with nothing held back. And yeah, they were right. This fight was brutal. Like nobody was holding back in this fight. Iron Man, Captain America, Winter Soldier, neither of them were holding anything back. They were going all out. And honestly, this fight, oh my god, I'm still thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it like even last night. In this fight, it was well choreographed, and I really thought that it was like the main, like, I guess conflict of the movie, because it was based Civil War like between Iron Man and Captain America, and this fight really drove that home, like how much their friendship had fallen apart at this point. And yeah, so overall the fight was pretty good. The villain, like I said, like David Brühl did a great job as Baron Zemo, but I felt like his villain was lacking some qualities. He wasn't the cliche villain we're used to from Marvel, but at the same time he wasn't like Loki or like Obadiah Stane. He had some motivations, but I felt like they could have developed his character more. Like he was pretty much, I guess in a way, he was like Lex Luthor in a way, like Lex Luthor from Batman v Superman. But I felt like he was a bit more underdeveloped than Lex Luthor was, because Lex Luthor was more developed and he had a clear motive and reason for doing this. And Baron Zemo had a clear reason, but I felt like it wasn't clear, and it was a bit more cliche than Lex Luthor's. But overall, the villain wasn't that bad. He was a decent villain, and I felt like some things were just fan service. Like, as much as I loved Spider-Man in this movie, I felt like there was no reason to have Spider-Man in this movie, because honestly he was there for like, he wasn't there for that long, and I felt like he was a shoehorn in this movie just as fan service for the people who wanted to see Spider-Man in the MCU. And I felt like he didn't really need to be in this movie, because even though Spider-Man plays a key role in the Civil War comics, this movie was written and filmed before Spider-Man was acquired, so they basically gave his role to Black Panther, and I felt like Black Panther enough would have been fine. So as cool as it was to see Spider-Man, I felt like he didn't really need to be in the movie. And yeah, there were some, like I said, some shaky cam moments, and I felt like even though the final fight was great, the third act kind of drags down a bit. Like after the airport fight, the third act, like, just, I guess it drags out a bit. It's not bad, but I felt like after the first two acts, it was kind of a letdown, and I didn't like the way the movie ended because, well, I won't say what happened, but I felt like the ending should have been different. So yeah, I felt like, yeah, the ending could have been better and different. And but like, yeah, overall, guys, this movie, it was pretty good. The acting was amazing. The story was good. The action was by far the best I've seen in any superhero movie, and this was a great sequel to Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It says overtaken Winter Soldier as my favorite superhero movie of all time. I can't wait to see where the Marvel Cinematic Universe will go from this, because I feel like this war will have a bigger impact on the MCU than the revelation that Hydra was inside Shield. So I want to see like how like other people will do this and all that. And yeah, I can't wait to see Black Panther and Spider Man in their own solo films. And I'm gonna give Captain America: Civil War a 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Captain America: Civil War. Seriously, guys, you need to go watch this movie. I really want to watch it again, and I'm gonna try to go again if I can. And yeah, so that's my review of Captain America: Civil War. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.